Hi guys, and welcome back to November's supply drop. So let's have a look into the slightly bigger box this month. Lots of different things for about 4 or 5 different dioramas. And first up, we've got a paint set for the Spitfire. I bought the 1/48 scale Spitfire a couple of months ago. Lots of packing from my friends at B&A Model World. And a few different things coming up here. I've got a dressmaker's dummy, and that's for a dio that I'm slowly accumulating pieces for. A couple of sofa chairs. That is also for one that I said I was going to do this year, but haven't quite gotten around to it. Some Archer fine transfers, and these are British Airborne markings. That's a bed, a resin bed. Now this is for a new dio I just thought of, some cafe furniture. I got 2 boxes of the cafe furniture, because it'll be a big cafe. Some wine bottles and wooden crates. Some champagne and cognac bottles. Beer bottles and wooden crates. Some household crockery and glass sets. Some French tank crew, but I've only got that for some certain bits that I want to cut off and use. More excellent packaging from the men and women at B&A. Some British field accessories for the Bridge Too Far dio. A truck. A German military car. A Tourenwagen. And a mini art French cafe. So you might have noticed lots of mini art stuff there. They were on sale, 30% off. So I had a real crack at it. That is some clear canopy glue or glaze. And no one will be able to guess what this is. Or perhaps you can. My probably favourite glue is the Revell Professional. Right, let's get this all on the bench. Very nice. And I'm pretty happy. It makes quite a large pile. And given that most of the mini art stuff was around about the 30% off mark, got quite a lot of boxes for my dollars. So I've gone with the Vallejo Air War RAF Colour Special, the Battle of Britain. I haven't got too many clues about aircraft in World War II, other than I can tell you that I absolutely love the Spitfire, the shape of it, the history of it, and what they were able to achieve flying that machine. And I think I fell in love with Spitfires when I was a young bloke and I first saw the movie The Battle of Britain. So I just want to build the Tamiya 1/48 scale kit and learn from building it, because it'll be my first kit in, for this, maybe 40 years. And I didn't want to have to think too hard about what paints I needed to get. So the one-stop shop. I love Vallejo paints. They work really well in my environment, and so I'm really looking forward to doing that. Now all the crockery, wine bottles, wooden crates, champagne bottles, cognac bottles, beer bottles, that sort of stuff, or the mini art stuff in particular, is largely for the diorama that I talked about at the start of the year, which is the One Night in Paris. So it's the gradual destruction of a multi-story hotel in Paris by German troops who are about to be moved to the Eastern Front. So it's going to be big, and there's going to be lots of figures, and it will have lots of bottles and debauchery and what have you. So I showed you some of the figures a little while ago, a lot of the female figures. So I've just been accumulating them. I've recognised the fact that I'm not going to get it done this year, given the fact there's only a month to go. But it is something I'd like to get done next year, and maybe lower my eyes a little bit and not proud out about doing 6 or 8 dioramas, and realise I'll probably be happy if I can get that and a couple of other ones done. Now, the World War II British Field accessory set is for the Bridge Too Far diorama, and that's a very particular scene that I want to make from the movie, and I'm also accumulating quite a lot of pieces for that, and I think I've shown you the field guns and the Willys Jeep and quite a few of the paratrooper figures. I think I've got pretty much all I need. Maybe I need the radio set. I can't remember if I've even got it or not, to be honest. So that's another one that I want to get done next year. The French Cafe from Miniart, first diorama I did on the comeback was Maria Otrasbergeva diorama, the Russian T-34 in front of the ruined building. And I did an okay job, I think, but I look at it all the time and I think I could have done a much better job. So I've been wanting to do another Miniart building, and I just really couldn't think of anything that I wanted, and I can't even remember the movie I was watching, which is tragic. I think I just switched channels halfway through and caught a few minutes of it. And again, a particular scene, which I don't need to refer back to the movie, I get the general gist of it, will be some German officers and men having coffee or tea or cognac or whatever with some female companions sitting out on the street in front of the cafe with the German officer's car parked nearby, and then an old truck with some French resistance fighters will be barreling down the street and causing mayhem. And I want it to be a particularly dynamic diorama, so I want things flying through the air, and I want the car flying off the ground, and people diving for cover and that sort of stuff. So I'm just interested in exploring, trying to get more energy and movement into the dioramas rather than just a static sort of a snapshot in time with a single picture. So that's the theory. We'll see how that goes in practice. So that's the truck, and you may have noted that a truck was a fairly succinct explanation. It was only as I looked at it that I realised I had not a chance in hell of pronouncing and didn't see Soviet truck Ziz 5V down the bottom. So Kobtek, yeah, you know I can't say it. So that'll be the truck. I just wanted an old truck. It'll be painted up as a civilian vehicle, and that will be what some of the resistance boys are in as they do a drive by the cafe. I think I called them sofa chairs before, which probably isn't normal to call. They're just chairs. I think they're leather armchairs. So that'll be part of the One Night in Paris, in the more refined part of the hotel where the officers are dancing with nice ladies. But they look pretty good. Nice resin kits, dare I say it, quite crisp. The dressmaker dummy on its stand is the only piece I've got in this delivery for another diorama, which is Occupied Britain. And I'm just slowly scraping bits and pieces together for that, but I've got some German troops with bicycles and an SD KFZ 222, I think, and some civilian figures and some other bits and bobs. So again, everything that I said I was going to do this year will just roll into next year. That's for the One Night in Paris. That's a double bed with I think what it would be a wrought iron bed head and footing. Again, quite nice detail. And some little pillows come with it. The canopy glue, which is for the Spitfire. Never used it, don't know what to do with it. I'm sure I can't do all those jobs, and I probably did the first time I made a Spitfire 40 years ago. My favourite glue, as I've already said, the Archer Fine Transfers. So this is for the Bridge Too Far, for the figures, for the paratrooper figures, which are very, very tiny. The Tourenwagen, which will be part of the French cafe scene. And some nice box art there. I think those figures, they're really nicely painted. So I'd be happy if I could get my figures to look anything like that. And the French tank crew, and they'll also be part of the French cafe diorama. But I just want bits and bobs of them. So some heads here, and there was an arm in particular that I like the look of. So do a little bit of Frankensteining with those. I like that guy's head, and I think it's a very strange beret on his head, but I'm not sure. The only experience I have with berets is watching some mothers do have them with Frank Spencer. So,
how do you mean?
I like his head. He just looks super French, which is a compliment. And this guy I put in there, I don't think I'll use him, but I actually work with a guy who looks exactly like this bloke. So I might be pinning this up on my desk. I want that head for sure, and the beret. And that's it, guys. And look, it's been a long time, probably 6 weeks since my last post. This is a really busy time of the year at work for me, so I think I've had about 2 hours in the last 6 weeks at the bench, so I've just done a little bit of painting on A-Slab. I think I've finished painting the interior. I can't remember. I literally haven't been in the room for 3 weeks, so that will finish over the next couple of weeks, and work will calm down, and then we'll go back to normal. Normal services will be resumed. So thanks for your patience. I hope you enjoyed this. Some hopefully interesting dios to come, and hopefully I'll be a little bit more productive in 2018. So hopefully, gee, how many times can you say hopefully? I aim to get the A-Slab painted and a video up before the end of the year, and then of course the December supply drop, which will be just after Christmas. So hopefully something decent comes down the chimney from Santa. Alright, thanks again. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Look forward to reading your comments, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you keep up to date with all the new postings. Cheers guys, bye.